Mr. Drake Kake. Step up to the front, please. My name is Slicky Campbell. Let's get into Drake. Mr. Six God. Mr.
BBL Drake.
Let's talk about his career and what he can do to save this shit. As you all know, Drake released his, I don't even know at this point. It could be anywhere from 8 to 10 studio album. It was a collaboration album with Party Next Door. And honestly, a lot of people clowned on it and said it was like the worst thing ever. I gave it one listen through, and I listened to a couple other songs. I honestly don't think it was that bad. I think Drake's an easy punching bag because he's the most popular artist, one of the more popular artists right now, especially in hip hop, probably the most popular in hip hop. He is a very easy punching bag. Everyone likes to dig on Drake because his music is very stagnant, one note at this point, and it's easy for music reviewers just to be like, this sucks, and a lot of music elitist people will be like, yeah, of course it sucks, it's Drake. I don't think it was Drake's best project ever, but I don't think it was the worst thing. It wasn't like poop or something. It was okay, but it was just very one note. Some content creators' expectations for Drake are very high. It's like, he's not gonna give us this mind-blowing album that everyone's just gonna give a 10 out of 10. He's gonna give some songs to fuck to, according to Party Next Door, right? But like I said, it'd be easy just to call Drake mid, but what I want to talk about is how Drake progresses in his career at this point. He's released so many studio albums, and he keeps making this music that it really isn't evolving. And I want to talk about what he can do to really revitalize his career and maybe end his either music career or continue his music career on a higher note than it has been in the last couple years. Even honestly, since COVID, it's kind of been on a downhill journey. Honestly, one thing that does complicate Drake's career moving forward is this whole Kendrick beef. And I know a lot of you are just sick and tired of hearing about the Kendrick and Drake beef. I honestly am too at this point. It's been 2 years. I think what has been said needs to be said, and everyone needs to move on from it. If we hear any more about this going into the summer or anything, I'm going to lose my mind. As someone that follows music very heavily, I don't want to hear about this anymore. We get it. Drake hangs out with weird people. He kind of is into some weird things. He's not going to be held accountable for it, so let's just drop it and move on at this point. In the first direction I thought Drake could go in was just kind of quit music entirely. And this is complicated by the fact that this Kendrick beef is still going on. So if he quits music, hip hop, there's like a lot of rivalries and stuff. So it would be like him just like forfeiting this beef at this point. He would be like, Kendrick, you won, and it wouldn't look good on his career. So that's why this Kendrick thing does complicate it. But I think Drake is kind of perfect for him just to be like, in 6 months to a year, be like, hey, I'm dipping into movies. I think Drake, just his like demeanor, the BBL Drake of it all, he would kill like high budget comedy movies. Or I mean, he was originally an actor, so he needs to get into some like really high budget films. He needs to be in like an A24 film to like really tap into his older audience. I feel like people my age that grew up listening to Drake when he was like signed to Young Money and really just on his 6 a.m. in Dallas stuff, like we have progressed past this like petty hip hop stuff. I know a lot of people are into it. A lot of people love hearing about rap beef and everything, blah, 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 blah. But I think him getting into movies and him being a good actor would bring a lot of those people back into it. The people that listen to Drake at the club, more specifically white girls and white guys. But people that don't really listen to hip hop, they would be like, oh, Drake is like a good actor. He's like lost his
corny aura that he has around him.
There are a lot of singers that are getting into acting. Look at K-pop right now. Jennie, even though her stints haven't necessarily been the best from Blackpink, but Lisa in White Lotus, she's getting so much praise for her acting chops. And I think Drake could go on that similar route, like just global pop star. I mean, honestly, Drake is a pop star more than a rapper, but he needs to get into that field and just get like 1 or 2 really good movies that he's in. And then I think his like corniness aura will either be fueled in like a positive light, or it will just be erased, and he'll have this like sense of like being this artistic person that he once was. Because I don't think anyone puts Drake and artists in the same sense anymore. He's just like a machine that puts out music every 6 months to a year when he needs a check, because $100 million is not enough. Like, he needs 150 million or some bullshit like that. And yeah, the music that he makes now, like I said, I don't think his last album was like the worst thing you could ever put out as an artist, but he's like pushing 40, making music for 16 to 20-year-olds. We need to get a grip on Drake's career. When you're 40, talking about all this like lovey-dovey, like teenage romance stuff, it's like, chill out. Like, you got like a 6-7-year-old kid. Like, come on. And the other thought I had about Drake's career, if he wanted to stay in music, I think Drake has always wanted to be a musician. I mean, he was an actor and could have stayed being an actor through the Degrassi show and so on and so on, but he chose this like musician path. I still think he wants to do it. I think Drake, and just as honestly listening to his song when he was mentioning Tate McRae and Charlie XCX, I was kind of thinking like, what if he went to a whole nother genre? Like, what if he pulled like a Beyonce Cowboy Carter and had like an era and was like trying to be this like more of a pop star in a certain genre? I mean, he has that BBL Drake like persona where he's like trying to act zesty or fruity or something like that, with like the ways he poses, the way he does certain things. And he's done this before with songs like One Dance, and like the whole Views album was a little bit more poppy. He's had a lot of more like slowed down indie R&B kind of vibey track. I know the one, I forgot the album, but it's the one where it was like considered a playlist more so than an album. It's actually aged really well, but that album was more indie R&B, so he can definitely go into different genres and be successful. It just sucks because he is in this beef with Kendrick, so like anything he does to remove himself from hip-hop or rap is gonna be viewed as like a Kendrick W, Drake L. And I'm like, Drake, why do you care about this? Like, you could be doing so much other things than worrying about like a beef with Kendrick Lamar. And I'm not saying like I take Drake's side. I don't at this point, Kendrick has won this beef. I think they just need to end it. Like, there's nothing more that contribute to this situation unless more stuff comes out about Drake. But I want to talk about some genres that Drake can get into to be successful. Obviously, I brought up Beyonce, Cowboy Carter. She went into country. I don't think Drake would do well in country. I mean, his dad is from Memphis, Tennessee, so like maybe there's like some kind of connection. You can like do an album. I don't think it'd be that successful because Drake isn't really known for like a very like deep masterful voice. Like, it's really more about the production and how his voice messages.
I'm finding it.
It take you that long to
It
find
does.
it?
How his voice kind of meshes with the production that creates like a really good catchy song. So yeah, I think the folk country route is like not in question. I don't think he can do anything in the jazz realm or anything like that. What I really think Drake would excel at is like straight pop or just like electronic, like what a lot of the underground rap is doing right now with like Two Hollis and stuff. I tweeted something out the other day. I was like, Drake just needs a taste of Two Hollis' nachos. And what I mean by that is Drake needs to steal a little bit of his swag, give Two Hollis a cosign, and get on these like really EDM poppy type beats. I think Drake would really find a lot of success, collaborate with a lot of new artists, and find like a new invigoration with these beats. And I think Drake can commit to a character, and I think his audience, even the younger ones and the older ones, would enjoy this type of like electronic pop era. I don't know how much he would get on like traditional house music. I don't know how well that would mesh, honestly. I'm thinking of like Azalea Banks type beats and stuff like that. I don't think that would work well. But I think if you're getting into like a closer to the electronic era, something that he hasn't really touched, I think he can one, keep a lot of his fan base, but unlock like a new part of his fan base that would take him to another level. And me personally, I think he needs to do one of these things. I don't think he has a long shelf life in hip hop and rap anymore. He needs to get into the pop world, maybe even do something with Tate McRae. I don't think him and Charlie XCX are ever doing anything. That's just a whole weird different world. But it'd be like ironic at first. Oh, Drake has a feature with Tate McRae. They're both Canadian. do that, and then like it's like, wait, this is actually like a really catchy. I know they can make some kind of like Sabrina Carpenter espresso song where like everyone just loves it. Like get some Swedish pop producer to produce something and people will gag for it. It's just hard though, because like I said, that Kendrick beef, if he leaves the hip hop world and genre, or like publicly announces it, which I don't think you should do at all. I think you should just release music with, like I said, a Tate McRae feature, another pop girl feature, or even like just someone that's really not in the hip hop scene, like electronic feature, or getting into like dream pop,
Drake, the shoegaze artist. No,
but like I said, just transform your music or get into acting or something like that, where you kind of like eliminate this corny era or aura that you've had for like the last like couple years. Everyone's kind of clowning on Drake, and I just think, like I said, his hip hop shelf life, we're gonna see a stark downfall if he keeps trying to do these like college ballads about him losing love for someone in their fucking dorm room or something, and it doesn't help his case for the whole Kendrick and Drake beef. For the love of God, like, let's get some better production, or not better production, because I think if he still works with 40 is like a legend in producing, so I don't want to shade anyone like that, but like get some different, more unique production in there to kind of get into another whole music genre shifting era. Beyonce did it and she was really successful. Obviously Beyonce, like a one of one artist, but Drake has also produced very similar numbers and accumulated a lot of stuff in an image because of his music too. Like, let's not forget that Drake has always been like the top artist for like the last 10 to 12 years. That's why we're even having this conversation. But yeah, it also depends on Drake. Does Drake even want to do this? He is pushing 40. Does he want a whole musical change? I mean, to still keep making money, to still bringing in the revenue, you kind of have to think about these things. Do I go into acting? Do I do another whole genre shift in music? Because getting into a pop and like electronic music, there's not a lot of beefs in there unless it was like something a lot more internal beefs, so you can like get away from all these rappers trying to take shots at you. And if you do it, and his PR, obviously Drake's PR team's probably getting paid millions of dollars by the hour, they can, you know, fuck around and find some artists to work with and stuff. But I think either going into acting or just a genre shift, which realistically, I think it would be a genre shift, because at the end of the day, I think Drake wants to be a musician, like, period, point blank. Also, let me know if there is another artist you want me to talk about. If it gets a lot of likes, or it's another artist situation, let me know, and I will definitely think about making a video about it. But yeah, if you got this far, thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Drake is just washed in hip hop and you think he should go into acting or have another era, if you agree with me, or if you think he can just last in hip hop and retire in 5 years? Honestly, Drake could have already retired 5 years ago and still would have been totally 100% fine. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for getting this far, and see you later.